Welcome back to ESL One, and it is Cologne this time, not Frankfurt. We're back for Battlefield 4. We've had our 3 seasons. Our 3rd season final is right here at Gamescom 2014. Earlier on today, we saw Group B completed, and as expected, perhaps, Fnatic were the dominant force. We expected them to go through, and they delivered. Time now to turn our attention to Group A, however, where their nemesis team are first up on the stage. Our opening game of the group, ESC versus Epsilon. Let's go back to our commentators in just a moment, but as you can see on the screen right now, Epsilon, MYM, Planet Key, and ESC fighting out for 2 spots into the semi-finals. Tomorrow we will have those semi-finals. We'll also have the final games of each group to see who qualifies through as well. The defending champions, Fnatic, are through. Can their nemesis team, Epsilon, join them? Let's find out with your commentary team for our first game of Group A.
Thank you so much, Paul, and welcome back, ladies and gents. Obviously, we are now moments away from getting underway into Group A. It's a little bit backwards, as Paul said at the start, a little bit curious. So let's just get there in the end, regardless. And we now need to find the opponents for at least Fnatic, who are secured from Group B.
We need to see the challengers.
That's the big thing now. There's a lot of good teams, to say the least. Meet Your Makers One, we're not going to be seeing them just yet. They're just afterwards. They're the team that picked up the trophy not too long ago. They're one of the top teams in this. They've slumped a little, but apparently they've been working pretty damn hard recently. Excluding them, there's the likes of Epsilon, phenomenal side, constantly the bridesmaids to Fnatic. Never quite there, but always hot on their heels. Facing off against ESC, another solid team, finally battling their way through the Go Forward, which we casted together. Yeah,
and I'm a big fan of ESC. I like their play style. I like that they maybe didn't come through the same path as everyone else. Whether that is a statement to their skill remains to be seen. But the fact that these guys, the fact that these guys got through purely just by turning up for these Go For Cups, and to compete with the people who, did they battle harder for their place?
You could argue it, I guess. You could possibly.
They had to play a lot more games.
Well, let's put it this way. They took out the likes of Infamous, a team who won and truly lived up to that name during the last online segment.
Well, we expected to see them here, and then ESC show up and just blow that out of the water, so...
Yeah, first game, Epsilon up against ESC is the one we'll be watching first of all. I wish I could call this super easy. I can't. It's so hard to find the difference between these two teams.
And it's not too easy because Fnatic's not playing.
Ba-dum-tsh. Real funny. But no, I think on paper, it's Epsilon's game. They're the strongest side.
Yeah.
They've finished second throughout the online phase of this. In the group stages, proceeded through as expected, not quite pushed to their limits. But you guys at home, I'm curious to see how you guys vote on this one, because ESC have always had their hot games at LAN. Let's put it that way. They always just turn up, do okay at the start, nothing spectacular, but out of nowhere, they'll do one game where you're like, wow, where's that team come from and why are they not here consistently? So, a dangerous side.
Would you agree with me in saying that ESC are one of those teams, not like Fnatic where they're all these kind of standout players? ESC relies on a couple of names within that lineup to bring the big results home. I'm thinking Jera.
That is one name.
You might hear that name.
That's one name you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, and is Hupsucks as well?
Yeah, Hupsucks for sure. He is one of the big players that if he's on point, he can bring home the victories. He does occasionally run with that CZ301, certainly an option for him. Maybe not in this game, I'm not sure how they're going to face this one out. ESC, to me, just need to smooth everything over. They need to get that performance on a level. They need to find that consistency that they don't quite always find at the right time. They need to get that going from the very start. If they don't have that, Epsilon will smash. There's no two ways about it. You're basically seeing the last team to qualify against one of the first. So it's going to be a very hard match for ESC. Clearly the guys out in the crowd having a good time. He looks happy enough. That was a beautiful smile and wave.
Beautiful smile and wave.
That's fantastic. But as you can see, ESC on your screens there, looking to get this one started nice and quickly.
Yeah, and I was talking to these guys just before the game kicked off. I was saying to them, where do you feel confident in this? And I was saying, do you fear Fnatic? And it was really surprising to hear, we're not as much worried about Fnatic as we are Epsilon. And I was surprised by that, purely because, admittedly, probably because they knew they were playing them first.
Yeah.
Just the sheer fear factor of our first time on stage and we're up against Epsilon, a team who they have the potential to be at that top spot. They could steal that away from Fnatic. You're looking shocked by that, but that's where I stand right now.
I don't know. It's a hard one to predict. Now, the thing is, I look actually at the ESC lineup. I completely forgot Benny's in there as well.
Oh, yeah.
A bit of a land veteran to an extent. I'm trying to recall who he played for last time. I feel it was LDLC, Pyrogen, if I'm not mistaken, who do have brilliant performances. The short man who cannot drink for the life of him, but a phenomenal Battlefield player regardless. There's some great stories from the last finals regarding that man. You can see him on your screen right there. Well, we might have to bring him up on stage if they do make it through this. I think he's certainly worth a chat too. But ESC, a little bit of a mixture. Jera, one of the most hit and miss players. He can either win you games or he's just completely absent. So it's a lot of pressure on individuals within ESC, whereas Epsilon play as a team. They play as a complete collective. They're smart, they rotate well, they have those set positions. I think we're going to be seeing the likes of Dawnbreaker, Shanghai, and then I don't think they'll care about the third map because they expect to get into.
Ooh, confidence. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm still desperate to see a Zavod, but this is not the game we're going to see it.
You might do. It's one of those games, one of those maps, excuse me, where Epsilon can have some very good performances. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe keep that in rotation.
Okay.
Keep that in as an option. But it's for me, what does ESC want to take away most from Epsilon?
Damn. Do I mention that?
I don't think it's an option for these two. I think that it's not a map they want. It's too hit and miss. It's too much of a... Oh, look, the waves are back out again. Oh, hey. Everyone's so happy. Hey, guys, how you doing? Stop hitting your friend there. There's no need to be mean. But still, something they're all fighting for in front of them. And I think there's going to be some interesting choices made in the map selection. It's going to be a very important part here coming into Group A. I think it'll set up what we can kind of expect seeing throughout this one. ESC having a bit of a rocky performance every now and then. They've had lineup changes. They've switched players here and there. Losing out to Exertus, the team we saw not too long ago in Cup 1, actually. So ESC not having the best of plays to this point online, but you get them to the offline stages, they come together as a team. I think we could see something from them.
Oh, it'd be great to see. ESC, not shy of the engineer class, as said in this one. They're a team that, I mean, they'll work the evolution, they'll kind of bring the engineer class out early, kind of try and change the map how they want it. And it works for them, especially on maps, like Railway.
Do you know what? That's a good point, actually. They might be okay with something like Storm. I didn't even keep that in mind. They did adapt towards that engineer style.
Wreck mid.
They could do. If they fancy that. Epsilon have that very static, standardized style. They like to play their set positions. Maybe if you take them out of that comfort zone, you could see a really unique outcome, actually. That is a good point. Maybe then, rather than playing it in Epsilon's favor, ESC might want to take it into more the destructible maps, quite possibly. You could see something like Storm as an option. It's certainly something that you've got to keep in mind. Hey, guys in the crowd again. So maybe Storm, maybe your Railways, something around that.
You're naming maps I enjoy.
Yeah, it could be an option here. I think it's all down to these bans and picks and what they want to get rid of.
I think it might be time.
You can see Benny there. Beautiful man. We'll have to have a little chat with him about his drinking habits a little bit later on. Hopefully Benny is over that, but lock her out. That's a good move. You don't want to get...
We've seen it played a lot so far in this finals.
Damn out. That's a good choice to get rid of. Those two certainly want you on one map.
Ooh, he's scratching his beard.
Scratching the beard, Benny.
Like a wise old man.
Yeah, he's not sure. Hold on, what's next?
For those of you wondering,
I reckon get rid of Railway, maybe. Ooh, Storm, actually. Anyone who's willing to play Epsilon on Railway is a brave man. But we'll see what they come out with. I'm interested now. Very interesting.
There it is.
Shanghai out. Okay, so this is what we got left with. Railway, Zavod, and Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker, a safe first map, but will they go for it?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm happy because we've seen Zavod and Railway for the first time. Both of them, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's going to be ESC's pick first.
Okay, I'm thinking we can see a first
Dawnbreaker. If they want to prove a point, Railway. If they want to play safe, Zavod. Yeah, Zavod, nice choice. Epsilon, they can play unorthodox Epsilon. They have a little bit of that French style to them.
There you go.
Railway, and then Dawn as a decider if necessary. That is a lovely... I'm really liking that map selection. So let's break this down a little for you guys. Excuse me, if you're not, let's say, up to date with how these guys are playing. So your Zavod is a little similar to maybe a locker in a way. You have one slightly outward side. The two complement each other well. We've seen the adaptation of certain teams going for the unorthodox holds. They work out the spawns they want. They work out to lock out teams. But Epsilon, now they're a team that definitely can play this unorthodox style. They have a way that they just dominate in mid, and they can always utilize that towards A then. It can become a real hot, fast rotate, and it's simple for them to do. So that's what I want to look out for. Do they go for that mid presence? Do they play it in that sort of way? Is ESC prepared for that as well? Another big factor.
So you're talking kind of a BC hold with the kind of a real presence in mid. Is that what we're expecting to see here?
It's completely down to them, and there's so many options. Let's put it that way. I can't even describe to you how interested I'm seeing this, because this is one of the maps that Epsilon kind of became known for because Horek. So Horek is one of the players who constantly was the man out towards A. If I ever describe this map to you as to how it plays out, I'd explain that generally your setup is a BC hold, and then you utilize A if necessary. You go to it if you're losing a site as a quick pick-up off the back foot. Now, they were one of the sides to revolutionize that, Epsilon. They were the ones to first try it out as, does this work? Is this something we can commit one player
test
to?
Test the water a little bit.
And it worked, and they made it into an art form. And the one man who'll be doing that will be Horek. Consistently being out there, constantly being that nuisance. So you can never underestimate that final sight.
It's a lot of busy hands on your screen.
Yeah. Look at that going. But
like
ESC...
clan of spiders.
That's a horrible term. Don't ever say that. That's not cool. The ESC will have to now play him at their own game. Jared can do the same job, but they might want him as a bit of a fragger in this. But then keep in mind, if ESC want to use maybe those CZs, the engineer class, they can do it on this. Dignitas were one of the teams originally who utilized the engineer on this to take away some of the cover and get the early crossfires.
Yeah.
There is a lot of options here between these two teams, depending on how they want to take this one through.
Yep, and I don't really know where this is going to go. I think, again, I do kind of keep returning to this point, but what I want to know is how they start, because I've seen a lot of early A holds where they'll go in towards A, take A, and try and hold on to it for as long as possible with as little men as possible, just leaving that kind of lone ranger to hold back on A, and stop that being the kind of the one that quick to change hands. In this one. So obviously BC, we're expecting to see that a lot. I've seen a lot of cheeky play around B in my last couple of Zavod games. With this kind of retake strategy where you look to be approaching C, they start pushing resources towards C, and then all of a sudden the spawns come in on B and you've got a nice kind of A-B hold. Not ideal, but I've seen it work in the past.
It's certainly something to consider here. These two teams are going to be very well aware of each other's play style. I think that's going to be a big factor. Also, we've got to look at how well Duke plays. He's a player who gets consistent, little bits of abuse, let's put it that way, from these teams, saying, you only play that well because you have, this dodgy connection, we can't hit you, all of this.
Oh, really?
But now we're on LAN. Everyone's equal, everyone's on that par. So we're going to have to see if they can actually find that footing towards this and actually find that comfort zone, because they are now almost ready to get underway. I reckon this map should go to Epsilon's favor.
Okay.
But the ones after that, I think ESC could do something on. I think they've got real potential to actually change that one around.
You do?
If they get the correct starting, if they find their footing early on, if they get that good beginning and start to work it out. So we'll have to wait and see. We are now seconds away from going live. Your final prediction, who's going to win overall?
Overall, I think we're going to see 3 maps, and I think we're going to see Epsilon.
I think the safer bet is Epsilon. I'm hoping ESC can find a little bit of comfort, a little bit of early footing. We'll have to wait and find out. They will be actually Epsilon starting on the US side. The Russian side, I believe, will indeed be ESC. Yeah. And I see a lot of engineers for both sides. This is what I wanted. All right, 20 seconds until we get into game.
Time.
This is going to be good. This is exactly the start I wanted between these two. We've got Smashu with that weapon of choice. Benny, Hubsucks all running engineer. We've got Horek, Marzu, and David doing the same. You can see Zavod on your screens. A map with consistent rotates, constant pressure, constant chopping and changing. But let's get into the game now, because we are live into the first game from Group A. Epsilon up against ESC.
Here come the Rockets.
Let's have a little look, see what they go for here. There we go, that's what I wanted. See what they go for straight away. Marzu watching that B cross. See how many are committed, but there's that mid push. And ESC expected it. They knew that Epsilon would want this.
Look at this. Fantastic work straight off the bat. A secured into ESC hands, but for how long? David maybe going to be questioning that one. In the meantime, though, we're going to see a little 1v1 between Asterix and Benny on that B site. Quick, though, a nice start, strong start for ESC. Something I was questioning, whether or not they could start as strongly as perhaps a more organized team. And I'm taking the words out of Jera's mouth there. He says we're practically a mix. And, I mean, that's a strong start for a mix right now. Jera looking to keep hold of B, but Horek's got other plans, though. Getting closed in by Benny. We can see there's a rocket fire around that tank area. Still low, Ticket starting to bleed away. C-site, the only one under Epsilon control. And what's going on over at A-site, Lauren?
I am loving what ESC are doing. Over A, we're going to get the back spawn. So ESC need to move in towards C. That's what we're going to see, a slow push across eventually. They're going to have to take on these two players. That is a done deal. But ESC knew exactly what Epsilon wanted to do with that mid-play. They were going to stack it out. That's what they use the engineer classes for. Now Duke is under a little bit of pressure, going to have to back out. But look at that swing and rotate. So for example then, ESC noticed that Epsilon were moving in towards A. So they went, okay, we'll wait for them to get on that site, then we'll make our move towards C. Oh. Now if they can hold it or not, completely different factor. They're reading the game well, hence they're up a good 20 tickets here. They need to make sure they can maintain rather than these flash in the pan holds.
Yeah, and for the first time this game, we do see the two sites in favor of Epsilon. And look at that mid stack you were talking about, ESC's plays through mid, and look at this, Benny at the forefront of this, coming charging towards this site. And the C site's going to be under some heavy scrutiny. The CZ in hand takes down Marzu. And this is what we like to see, was actually Smashu, the man who cracked open that site and is going to bring that one home. But in the meantime, we do see David doing exactly what ESC just did to them, getting his teammates on top of him and securing that B site in exchange for C.
Fast, quick, rotates. This game is going a million miles an hour thanks to that CZ play. Epsilon switched back to medics. They want to play with the AEKs maybe, your aces, something along those lines, but ESC want to play that faster, more aggressive style. Currently locked down towards C, maybe looking to build up towards another side. They need to Jera, we're going to stick with you, Jera.
Yeah, we're going to watch that.
He did go down in the end, but anyway, it's smart from ESC, but they need to be able to handle now what Epsilon do when they start adapting back.
Yeah, so you're absolutely spot on there. ESC, they started so very strongly. Epsilon have adapted at the right time. I mean, earlier games saw Exertus, they did adapt, but far too late. This is the right time to be adapting, changing your play, changing your approach, and being flexible as well. Don't insist on a kind of an A-B hold if AEC's just been given to you. So right now, they're quite happy with this one. Epsilon hanging out in that middle area, and I mean, ESC, after securing A, are going to try and hold on for as long as possible.
I think this was a little bit of a bait from ESC. They've stacked out the A side, which is more often than not the easier side to attack, and Benny just leaps down towards Duke, picks up the kill with that CZ. Smashu finds one as well, and this is just exactly what I expected from them. They might even get a triple cap from this, or they're just being prepared to give up A, because they knew the random respawns for Epsilon were going to be towards that northwest. Yeah,
and you're absolutely spot on. Horek picks that one up straight away towards A, and I mean, this is a triple cap. That's going to be one heavy bleed, pushing this game towards ESC even further as Jera picks up a cheeky double with the Ace 23. And of course, we are going to see that A side slip away, but they don't care. They're happy with that BC.
But look, Smashu was waiting. He's going to get back in there.
Surely not.
Do it.
Surely not. David's going to wake up.
He needs to wait. Take his time. Wait for him to push off.
Coming in.
Oh, he's going for the back shots.
He's revealed his position.
No, that was a mistake. He had the opportunity to back cap them. That could have been perfect. They only have two players really in at C. Hupsucks is going to be absolutely destroyed in mid.
Yeah.
But now they need to reinforce C as fast as they can with those two respawns and see if they can hold this.
Okay, well, Benny's starting as he means to go on. Does good stuff. Does fall, though, as the C site is relinquished from ESC control. Doobie's not going to be too happy with that one. He's considering this is kind of the same situation Smashy was in earlier around A. This time I think he's played it right, playing the waiting game, waiting for his teammates to join in the party, join in the fun. And now B looks to be changing eyes. I think we're going to see a trip cap in the opposing direction. Great play from Epsilon, almost entirely wiping out ESC. And fortunately though, Hupsucks is on the ball. Yeah,
thank God for him actually playing that one out smart, because ESC, they didn't realize what was going on at C. Epsilon now building up towards that B site, Asterix on the flank, and I think the ESC are forcing Epsilon to play a more aggressive game. Asterix is working away towards that B site slowly but surely, and you can see the cap coming in towards A. So Jera playing the Neron Horek role there to pick up the 2-1, and Epsilon, Horek's there, he's waiting, but he's focused towards B. This is not the Horek that we know and love. This is a very different style, and now Smashu might have to go huge here.
Yeah, and this is at that point, this is that tipping point of the game where this can either go to a very tight ticket threshold, or they keep hold of this 2-1. As I say that, it changes hands. B now under the Epsilon control, and that's going to put me right back in my place for suggesting ESC might be extending their lead. And Smashu on C is going to be meeting a bit of a party coming his way. If he doesn't play it right, he does play it right as he takes down David with the CZ. This is a map where the CZ really can flourish. In the meantime, though, Marsu's picked up a double, and it really is tit for tat.
It's back and forth the whole way.
Yeah.
C has been so fought over by ESC, they might have just forgotten about B being completely open. They have got A at least coming in, but they over-committed a little. But look how close this is, 68 to 69. These tickets are near on identical, and that's because ESC are forcing Epsilon to play out of their comfort zone. That's not the style that Epsilon ever like to play in Smashu. A newer addition towards this lineup is having a phenomenal performance. Does get taken down by Horek in the end, but that is Horek's domain over by A doing the back caps that we expected. So all in all, scrappy, but kind of, I feel, in favor a little to ESC here.
I'm in the same boat. I almost feel the tickets don't represent how well ESC have been playing this.
Yeah.
Right now, though, Epsilon, all credit to them. They are holding the lead, albeit a small one, as Doobie's just hanging around. Doesn't want to overcommit towards A. He's going to wait for that spawn, just get his teammate on top of him. I need to stop saying that. Sounds a bit inappropriate. But teammates do spawn in, and now the A site is going to be secured. B under scrutiny, though, as the C is wide open. I can only assume we're going to see those 3 ESC players relocate. Doobie on the run as well, heading towards that C site. He knows what he wants and how he's going to get it. It's just a question of that ticket advantage. Obviously, they're just trying to close it in, any sort of ticket advantage. These teams seem pretty closely matched, Lauren. So any ticket advantage, be it 1, be it 50, is going to be a huge, huge tale to tell into the second half.
Yeah, and ESC now took the opportunity to go for the longer build-up to the capture, and it's worked out. They near on squad wiped Epsilon, leaving only Asterix alive, so they're going to put the pressure on where they can. And this is a clever read from Doobie, though, turning around, knowing that the random respawns could come in towards A, or they didn't get the kills on B, so that still may stay in the hands of Epsilon. But I've got to say, Epsilon are not performing very well right now. For a team that did finish in such a prolific position, second place, they're not having the game they need here. They will be keeping A and B for now. But look at these numbers. ESC waiting to set up again, going to move in, going to get the site for free near on. They might relinquish control of C, but they can overmatch or equal out towards the B site. They're playing very well. They're putting the players in the right places. They just now need to get the kills to match it up. And sadly, they're not winning out on all of them this time. And Asterix may be able to maintain this. He's a player that does generally like to play on his own. They'll put him on the back roll positions, but Benny will find Duke. But they know there's more here, and they've still got a task to complete.
Wow. I mean, credit to Epsilon. They are holding sites when they shouldn't. I feel like we're seeing ESC throw numbers at them, and occasionally, Epsilon will just fight them back. And ESC, the rabid dogs of Battlefield, have managed to secure that BA. And look, it just feels like Epsilon don't want to go near them right now. Going to be coming around from that A site. David around that A site. In the meantime, Benny's hanging out, inspecting the tank. Just making sure it's up to his standards. Those tickets are so very close. 31-33. And obviously this is going to be carried over into that second half. So any sort of lead is going to really determine. Oh, nice play from Hupsucks through the bushes. And that's going to maybe be ESC looking good on A. And if they don't have to pay the price, if they don't lose a site because of this pressure on A, then it's going to be coming up all good for ESC, because right now it's not. 19 tickets.
Yeah, they're starting to struggle here, maybe running out a little bit of the steam and kind of losing a little bit of the focus because they've left B completely open. Duke's going to say, all right, we'll take that. And they're depending on this 1v1 now. David up against Hupsucks. Big exchange goes in favor to Epsilon. That will give them the A site. And it's going to leave ESC with just one, which is not enough at this point.
Not at all. Epsilon, after all this kind of fighting tooth and nail back and forth, it looks like they have kind of finally come out on top.
Final push here.
Yep,
has to be coming out from ESC. They need to get this B site cleanly while defending C, and I don't think they've done it.
Nope, I think they lost their numbers too quickly. Marsu and David just seem to be winning all of these important 1v1s, 2v2s, and the dueling game has come up. Epsilon, 5 tickets remain to 27, and now it's just a question, it's damage control. How low can we get that number in regards for ESC?
And I think we've had our question answered. There 27 tickets left in the pockets of Epsilon. Very good half for these guys. Epsilon could be very pleased with that. Just about chipping away at the very end then. Prior to that, though, that was any man's game.
It was. I mean, I was really kind of edging towards the ESC purely because of the pure class they displayed in that earlier start of the game. But Epsilon, straight back, you talked about it before, adaption, impressive stuff.
Yeah, I've got to say, ESC there, playing the style we kind of expected.
Yeah.
The CZs, engineers,
running in their
fast,
face,
aggressive. Epsilon, I don't think they knew quite how to deal with it first of all. They struggled a little bit at the very start. They didn't quite have that potency just yet.
Yeah.
But then they built up. They started to realize what was the main focus, what they needed to actually work on. And once they got that, at the very end, you started to see them kind of locking down the way they wanted to play out.
Yeah.
And that was a big changing point for them. Once they knew that, that was game on. But this is the closest game we have really seen to this point. A brilliant display from ESC, coming into this in the final qualifying place pretty much, and be able to challenge the second team.
Yeah, that's right. So those of you that aren't aware of ESC's route, instead of qualifying the same way as the other teams through points, these guys battled their way through the completely open to the public, Go 4 tournaments, and that they won every single one. Am I right in saying that? Oh, no, not well on every single one, but enough to bring themselves into the Lion's Den that is the main body of the teams.
Yes, most certainly. We'll have to see how this one goes down. I don't know if we're going live straight away. Hope you can see in chat. No, they are not live yet. So they're just trying to set things up, talk it through. Obviously, a very close game just passed. They do want to make sure they know what they're doing in the second half here. Very interested to see if ESC keep the same pacing up, if Epsilon do the same.
And the pressure's on. Pressure, especially on the ESC, just because I feel people expected them to either completely crash and burn on stage, turn up, or to be the surprise result. Everyone listed the kind of the main expected. You got the Fnatic, you've got your Epsilons, you've got your MYMs, and I had my Vox.
You tried.
Had, past tense. But they also had the ESC, the kind of bit of a wild card, and wild they were. Such a really impressive performance from them. Epsilon playing as we expect Epsilon to do so, and all in all, this should be one hell of a second half.
It most certainly will be, and this is a map that I kind of gifted over to Epsilon in a way. I was like, well, this is more their style. And yes, they did walk away with a small advantage, but a very marginal difference. So we are now ready to get this one started. 20 seconds away now. So Epsilon will be starting this time on the Russian side. ESC will be on the US side. What that means overall, ESC arguably have the easier starting side.
Okay. And that's probably maybe all they need to start as strongly as they did previously.
And the big question now, in my eyes, does Epsilon go for that B play immediately or the mid presence? Let's find out, because we are now live into the second half here between ESC and Epsilon on the first map, which is still Zavod. And it is that mid exchange going down. What we expected to see, but will ESC expect it this time?
All right, jumping down straight with Duke. He goes straight down. I believe it was actually taken down by his teammate there. Not going to be the happiest bunny on the box. A and C now, respectively. And you do see that B side come completely uncontested to Asterix there. Maybe a bit of a slip up. I think Jera was given that responsibility and didn't quite deliver.
No, so right now we have ESC controlling C, and they've got two players over towards A. Can they overmatch? Can they find that footing? Can they find these sides? Because right now ESC are moments away from a triple cap. This could be a disastrous beginning for Epsilon, and they're going to focus in towards C, leave a one-man split out towards B, but right now Smashu's dealing with him, as is Hupsuck, so this is huge.
Yeah, Hipfark paying off yet again. He's just kind of sprinting around, trying to be a constant presence on that site. He realizes that perhaps they're going to try something different on B, and he's right on the money, looking to meet up with Master. He knows he's going to be around this tank area. Such a hard site to take and to find the defensive players. Smashu, though, lying in wait. Spots one. He's not actually going to manage to take him down. That's going to cost him. And in the meantime, that B site could not be any more secure. It's all coming up Epsilon on that B site. But in the meantime, that AC hold, especially if they keep the numbers on this C site, considering this bit of an assault now from Horek.
Let's see if it's going to go well. Jera is on the side. We've got Hupsucks and Doobie roaming around the sides. It looks like Epsilon are building towards. They've got two players coming in. Maybe Marzu, not sure where he's going to go. Is he going to go underpass? I think he is. And I think that hit is about to come in now towards C-side. Jera gets mowed down. Doobie not yet in on the site, and they're going to send Smashu a little bit of a one-man mission out towards B.
Yeah, Asterix there to receive him. We'll see how that pays off. In the meantime, though, Doobie getting tagged up Getting that health kit out just when he needs it. And Duke, what was he doing? Caught quite surprisingly, actually, just throwing himself towards that mid area. Does go down, and you have to maintain that 27 ticket advantage to Epsilon. So right now the tickets, despite favouring ESC, are in Epsilon's hands.
Yeah, Benny thankfully dealt with the huge issue that was David out towards A. But ESC waited, they took their time, and now they're going to go for that C execution. Smashu is there. They might want to wait maybe for Doobie to come back with them. And they might go for that push in towards C any second now. Once they get that first kill coming in, it'll be time to pile through, and Smashu just gets taken down. Finally, we're seeing that smarter play coming out from Epsilon. They're starting to read the games a lot better. Horek already getting himself out, expecting that B rotate as they faked out towards C. So Epsilon is starting to read the game way smoother than before.
Yeah, they seem to have a good read on it. And yet again, though, I'm loving how close these tickets are. If you guys in the audience want a close game where you sat there earlier, this is what you got. Well, you got what you asked for. And with AC now under ESC control, the question now on everyone's lips is for how long. Duke looking to do something, as is Marcy for the Epsilon side. He knows the danger that lies beneath, and he's looking to find it. He does find Doobie. Doesn't take him down, though. Look at this defensive play from Doobie. He's actually going to catch one. Finally, he does go down. And the ticket's still quite slightly in favor of ESC if you ignore the 27 advantage.
Yes, so at the moment, ESC going to have to build back up. And wasn't it 7 tickets?
27, yeah.
Are you sure? I'm not sold. We'll see. At the moment, ESC doing their mid-aggression with those CZs. Just going to pile straight in. Hupsucks and Benny fighting David and Horek. And I'm not sure if anyone can really get back into this. Marzu's still trying, but they are capping that flag over. They need to do a nice quick rotate out towards that B site to make sure they secure that as well. But even with that in mind, 96 to 95, extraordinarily close.
Yeah, but that slight favour to Epsilon, if it does continue to go this way, it was a similar in the first half, but ESC need to start tipping it in their favour. And I'm not really sure what they can do to do that. Maybe, well, a start would be defending A, and they do just that with the AEK, actually, Doobie. There's a kind of whole mixed bag of weaponry in this one. It's quite nice to see ESC bringing something a bit fresh. Nice play in the meantime, though. We see that AC hold, sorry, but there's still not, we're not seeing that split off towards a B. Is there a reason behind that, Lauren? They're not considering that B site because maybe are they happy with AC and they don't need to worry about the other site?
Well, they know Epsilon like to mostly focus towards C. They might send one-man Horek out towards A, but right now Duke's got the path clear, so he could split himself there. But ESC know that if Epsilon, for example, put too many players out towards A, they'll just quick rotate B. They're okay for now. They can still read this well, and Epsilon aren't going for A yet. They don't realize it's completely open. Finally, David up. No, see, they're not going for it. They're basically being outthought here. ESC haven't needed to commit a player back towards this A site for quite some time because as Epsilon will always assume they have someone there, and there's no need to do that because now they can put Doobie there, but they maintain that mid presence because we know that Epsilon likes to play mid just by challenging them on the front. It's exactly what they wanted. 58 to 89. Epsilon is starting to lag in tickets here.
They certainly are. This is exactly what I was talking about, just mentioning tipping the scales. Instead of Caster's curse, we've got a bit of a kind of Caster's prediction. Mate, called it. In the meantime, though, Smashu, he seems to be constant, the defensive presence on this C side, and he does again and again. Look at him work with the AK, favouring that close range play. He has the weapon that justifies just that. Gets another one, this time at a bit of a longer range. Duke falling this time, and look at those tickets start ticking away. Finally, ESC seem to have got the advantage they were so hungry for in this first half.
I'm wondering how long they're going to be able to keep that A flag. Look at this, man. Smashu has become an absolute monster. They've dedicated Doobie here on his own, expecting that back push. If he doesn't spot anyone, okay, brace for impact over at C. That's where they're going to head. Now, Hupsucks, the last man alive, might have to play retake, or is he going to sneak B? Oh, he's going to go for the kills. He's been swiped by David. He's got Smashu coming towards him there. That's a clean wipe, Neron. That's going to leave Doobie in a bit of trouble, but here comes ESC, respawns in, heading over towards B. 31 tickets left with Epsilon. This would be the bigger upset of everything if ESC win that first match.
This is huge right now. Epsilon, they really are the favourites for this game, and at ESC, they do have that potential to surprise, and surprise they are. Whether or not they can hold on to this, though, you have to remember, 27 tickets from that first half. Epsilon aren't as wounded as they may seem. We'll see how long this lasts, though. Epsilon trying to keep hold of B. Not going to happen, though. Hupsucks and Smashu just too strong as a duo. In the meantime, though, it's kind of a 1v1 Well, made 1v0. Nice play from Duke on that C site, and really kind of this can go either way at the moment, but still around a 20 ticket advantage for ESC.
Yeah, ESC now in a great position. They look like they're going to build
look at
from
those
B
numbers
in towards C. Can they get this through though? Hubsuck splitting off towards the flank, and here we go. They are going to make that C push. If this sticks, Epsilon could be out of this.
It certainly is. First map, and it's going to be really impressive to see ESC knock these Giants on their backs. AC hold though for Epsilon. That's going to be something that we've seen them hold on to before, and with this spawns, almost a full wipe.
This could be a trip cap. If Duke goes for it, it could be a trip cap, but they're leaving C vulnerable.
Oh man, ESC, if they pass that 27 mark, then the first map has gone Epsilon's way, and they're going to do everything in their power to stop that from happening. But look, oh look, the whole map's looking blue right now, and Epsilon have kind of woken up in this remaining time, and I don't really know what ESC can do right now. They're getting spread out across the map. Smashy's kind of forced towards A, looking to join them on, now all spawning in on that, so the A side needs to be secured, and now, oh, Epsilon, that trip cap's going to make that bleed so very quickly.
Yeah, 38 tickets. Watch that just be stripped away. Oh, good play from Jera, actually. They could get a 2-1 here. They're winning through mid. Oh my god, this is going to get close. They've got the overmatch by C. This comes down to Hubsuck's picking up these kills, moves in. He takes down Asterix. There's one more here, but they got the clean exchange. They're going to get Trip Cap to turn it around.
I don't believe it.
This game's back on.
27 tickets. There's so little in this right now. If Epsilon fall to that 0, if ESC fall below 27, the tickets are neck and neck, and a trip cap in response to a trip cap. These teams are so evenly matched, it almost hurts my brain.
So, Doobie holding lower push. Up top, Hubsucks and Benny. This is where it comes down to this C play. This is the final push, surely. Not that many tickets to play. Benny goes down. Hubsucks doing the work. It's all going down on towards C. We're seeing the Epsilon is slowly but surely swarming over. They only have 7 tickets and they're down to Horek. 6 tickets left. This is unbelievably close.
One more ticket.
God, one more ticket and they're done. But ESC, they might have held on. I don't think Asterix can do it.
They have the 2 tickets remaining. Epsilon are about to lose the first map. I do not believe my eyes. 1 ticket in it. 1 ticket. I can hear the scream from backstage. Wow. That was Battlefield 4. Only in Battlefield 4. What a first game.
My God, the potential was there. Look at their face.
Oh,
they deserve that little bit of a swig of Red Bull. My God, everything that you wanted in a game of Battlefield 4 was just given to you on a plate. Phenomenal stuff. ESC just beat Epsilon at one of their stronger maps. Benny doesn't even get left hanging for once. He gets the high five. And they pick up first map. That is not what I expected out of the 3 maps we have here.
Oh, I'm in disbelief. Fantastic. Absolutely.
Out of the 3 maps, right? Railway and Dormer.
Yeah.
Possible for ESC. Railway's going to be hard. They have to know how to counter Asterix. I'll point it out when we get there. But Zavod was never meant to be theirs. Epsilon are renowned for that mid-play. That smart, aggressive, hard-to-handle style. Yeah. Where was that today?
I mean, amazing play from the entire team. The communication was spot on for ESC. Something maybe not so expected from a mix. I'm doing kind of the fingers.
Yeah, quote marks.
Quote marks, yeah.
I can see it. I can confirm.
Yeah, but I mean, the sheer fact, individuals, Hubsucks, 18 frags, top of the scoreboard. Hubsucks and Jera, both individuals who shone, and they weren't the only ones. The entire team brought their A game, and maybe it was the stage environment, maybe it was our incredible voices in their ears.
I don't know.
Whatever it was, maybe it was you guys in the audience cheering, but I have to say, fantastic play from both teams, but ESC pipped Epsilon at the post.
And now here's the thing, right? If you were Epsilon, you'd look back at the first game and they went, okay, I think ESC just knew our game style. I think they understood our gameplay, how we like to play it. And now Railway being the second map, Epsilon have a very defining play style. Will ESC be ready for that as well? Have they done their homework on this one? Have they countered it?
I'm pretty sure they've done their homework. Otherwise, the headmaster is not going to be a very nice man. And Epsilon are the kind of team that will punish mistakes and they'll punish error, and all they will do is just be a constant presence, keeping the rotate. On a map like this as well, they'll hit to the rooftops, and if they play the aim game, Epsilon are going to come out on top.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and find out. We are ready. We're just going to wait on, I think it's ESC, just want to talk things through. You can see Fnatic there keeping eyes on. I wonder how they're feeling about this, seeing ESC playing well. They're the team that absolutely detested seeing these kind of cheesy weapons, but things like the FAMAS, things like the Scar H, if they're seeing teams pick up these CZ3A1s and do the same thing, that could make them nervous.
Yeah, and ESC made them work for them so very well. Seeing the CZ, saw the AK as well. It was Smashu and B. No, sorry, yeah, C, holding C. Entire, like 1v3, 3 players throwing themselves at him, and he was there with the AK for that close quarters. And he, I mean, single-handedly defending sites is what you need, especially as a team of just individually skilled players.
All right, I think we are now moments away from getting into this map. What I want to see, okay, Epsilon, I reckon Asterix, if it's the normal style, he'll pick up the support class.
Oh, you're not wrong. Jera.
No, Jera's doing it. That's the other side. Oh, wow, okay, they could be anti-stranded here, guys. I'll break this down when we get into game. So, on the Chinese side, it will be ESC in red. On the blue side, which will be Epsilon, it's going to be the Russian side there. So, Railway, close, malleable, hard map to play. Epsilon renowned for utilizing the support class. Funny enough, we're seeing Jera pick it up.
Jera with the support class. So this is going to be interesting to see exactly what it does. Why don't you break down the benefits of the support class for us, Lauren?
Generally, you'll see it played up here as a near-on holding point. A man who can support himself to give himself ammo, and he can play towards the northeast side. Doesn't look like going for that. Smash is working up. I want to see the initial play. Epsilon have the 2-1. That's nothing to worry about just yet. Borek is there. It looks like they're going to try and work their way over towards C slowly. Smashu kind of leading the way, possibly.
Epsilon have so much to prove now. They're probably still a little bit wounded, a little bit confused about what just happened with like 2 tickets securing ESC's victory in that first map. Obviously best of 3 for this one, and we do see C site changing hands. It's probably going to be doing that a lot, but I mean, that was strong defensive play from Epsilon on C. B going untouched as well, and I think we're going to have to see some outside play from ESC going from that A to B.
I'm not sure why we saw the support class when you start there. See, this is what I expected. Asterix, he's probably en route back here. There we go. He's going to set himself off right on this little ledge. There we go. And then ammo down, set up with a little tripod right there, and look at this vision. Complete control, complete fire, and there's the first kill, there's the second kill. Double already comes in. That is the danger of playing Epsilon on this map.
This is Epsilon really just screaming at them, saying, we are not down and out. We are here to really play hard for our slice of 30k, and I would too. And so Asterix, what he's doing here is he's spotting it as well as being this kind of turret. He is giving his teammates so much information. In this kind of game, I mean, in Battlefield, it's not always voice comms that's communication. It's that spotting, and so much knowledge comes from just hitting that spot key. And right now, Asterix is doing so much work for his team, and the BC hold completely is demonstrative of that.
So basically, he can cover this much, right? So that means the back push here and a lot of B. So let's look at it from the other perspective. Look at it from the ESC side. Bit of fire comes in, that's Duke picking up. They'll hold the angles, and they know where it's at. They know where he is, but it's so hard to hit that.
Yeah.
Duke does go down, but that's probably his teammate reviving him more than anything, I think. Yeah, a little bit of a cheeky revive, gets him back up, and away we go. So they have to commit Jarrett all the way around here to even get close to him. And look at the tickets already.
Oh dear, he's actually got a bodyguard. Asterix has a bodyguard. Someone spawned in on top of him. And we'll see what Jarrett can pull out here. He needs to shut this down. This threat needs to be gone now, and he's going to do just that. Oh, he's going to go. He's showing off.
He's
knife to the throat, grabbing the dog tags of him, and he's going to be pretty happy with that one. Is he going to take his place, though? I think he might be, as I think Smashu is there to take his place with that spawn. Great play from him, takes down Marsu, shutting down that entire area of the map. And in the meantime, 3 players heading towards that site.
But let's take stock here. Let's look at what's really happened. So the engineers came into play. Look at those buildings, they're pretty much gone. But the tickets right now are disastrous for ESC. It took them so long to realize what Asterix was doing that they're now down a substantial amount. 136 to 82.
They have foregone 15 tickets, that's it. Ridiculous.
Unreal. So, Gerard looks like he might want to be doing
He's taking his place.
Here we go.
Right, Gerard taking the role of Asterix. We'll see how that works out for him. And look at that. Suddenly, the map has just, with a click of my fingers, it's almost as if the teams have completely swapped halves.
Let's see if they can do the same damage. ESC in the same position. He's not doing the same sort of style, though. He's not
different.
He's not gone for the standard, put the tripod down and go for the shots from it. But he's still doing the same work. And it's being able to maintain them, the BC setup. However, Epsilon surely will know how to play against this. If you play it consistently, you know how to anti-straight yourself. But, oh, David fluffs the shot. And right now, ESC might be able to turn this one around a little.
Yeah, it looks like that's their plan right now. The tickets certainly are starting to fall very, very fast in favor of ESC. Doesn't remove, though, that lead that they did forego early in this game. And look at Duke. Great play on that C-side. In the meantime, Smashu's getting bullets fired in every single direction. He's going to fall. Nade is going to be the nade. I think it was Horek. Yep, Horek throwing that nade. Got a strong arm for him. And we might be seeing an Epsilon trip cap here, despite that presence in the asterisk spot.
Yeah, if you're not Asterix, maybe you just can't play as well. There goes the cover.
Wow.
And that's why we saw David picking up that engineer role. And these sides have been going back and forward consistently. But as you can tell in those tickets, mostly in the favor of Epsilon, 109 to 64. This is the Epsilon that we've grown to know. The team that should have been winners from the start, and Marzu displaying some phenomenal skill there with that ace in hand. Ace 23 being utilized. Pretty stubby grip. Ergo grip there with the muzzle break. So looking to make it hurt more. And there's always downsides to tactics with Jera there and such. If they get locked out, they're so far away from being able to work back into this map, they get trip capped and locked at the door. And
I can't be the first person to notice that ESC are losing, and Hub sucks Jera. Jera, a resource so valuable to ESC, has been thrown kind of into that Asterix position. I don't think he's playing it half as well as Asterix, and maybe kind of a bit of a wasted positioning for Jera. And then Hub sucks at that bottom of the scoreboard, 5 for 9. When he's not performing, and when Jera's not given the position to do so, it's going to get messy.
Certainly
39
is.
tickets.
And Duke starting to warm up now, 12 to 8. He's getting those kills in the bag, and anything above 100, Epsilon will smash. We saw what they like on the starting half. If they get the side they want to be able to utilize the support class, they'll do that time and time again. 104 to 27, and this is just not going well. ESC are being squad wiped, they're being held back. They just can't make the impact. They tried to run the engineer class to remove the cover. That's fine. You can play the ground game if you take away this spot. Otherwise, guess who's back here?
Guess who's back with his... I'm not going to try that. Don't look at me like that. So, see what Smash has got for us right now. I think he's going to start considering that B site. He knows there's going to be a presence there, and lo and behold, Horek, the man who just keeps on giving for his team. And I think him alone have forced ESC to consider that C site, which has stayed under Epsilon control for a surprising amount of time. This is the site we usually see constantly changing hands, and Duke is looking very, very strong. Look at those tickets. 5 tickets, almost going to be ESC out in this first half. 100 tickets, almost an insurmountable amount. 80 was it? We kind of say anything above 80 is a real mountain to climb.
So, ESC, 103 ticket deficit. Woo. Epsilon playing their game. And this is the thing. Either you ban that map away from Epsilon, or you know how to counter it. They're your two options. You can't just try and keep toe-to-toe. It doesn't work like that. You've got to be able to find the differences. Otherwise, Duke, for example, 17 to 8. David, 13 to 7. Asterix only got 7 to 4. But the amount of fire, the amount of cover, the amount of spots he got is vital for a team. And then look at ESC. Trashed. They didn't get a chance. They tried to play the close range game, but you've got to be able to counter Asterix initially and then build off the back of that. Otherwise, no chance in this. Yeah,
you're absolutely spot on. I mean, ESC, when they were given Zavod, a map with so much CQB, constant close quarter action, that is where they really shine. When you're given Epsilon a map with that long range pick potential, giving Asterix his favorite spot, and for so long, it was 50, 60 tickets before they started trying to shut down Asterix.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, Epsilon are almost gifted that game, and I feel like ESC did not make the right choices in that one.
Definitely not. You gotta start looking towards that third map here, and unless ESC bring out something magical. But to me, why would they ever play that if they didn't realize how to counter them?
Yeah,
it baffles me.
Could be a question of research. You mentioned it at the start of this map. You said, have they done their homework? Are they aware of how good Epsilon are at this map? Epsilon, obviously, I believe this was their choice.
Yes.
Yeah, so Epsilon choosing to play this map, no surprise there, but I was hoping for a little bit more from ESC, and I mean, it's not over yet, but 100 tickets in favor of Epsilon for this map. We're going to probably be seeing that third one.
Yeah, I tend to agree. ESC might go for a solid start on this. I think they will, actually. I think they're going to go for a very aggressive B and A hold. They're going to use the engineer classes and blast their way through. This is what I assume. Let's see if that comes true, because we are now live into the second half here. As we do see those walls being destroyed, the sites being picked up.
Wow.
And that very quick rotate change down towards A.
Yeah, and smart play from Epsilon. They saw that they did that instant C capture, which meant that they were probably going to go sprinting straight towards B. And look at that fantastic work from Epsilon getting on towards that C site. But it certainly cost them a couple of lives. Yeah, a lot of spawns being forced. Doesn't stop Epsilon securing that C site, so they're going to start with an AC hold. But for how long, especially with Hupsucks and Smashu heading towards perhaps A, or they might be going to be forced to defend that B site. Oh, building comes down.
The problem is, if ESC don't get a triple cap for an extended time in about 2 minutes, that lovely amount of tickets they've gathered doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because they have 100 to keep in mind. So either look at it this way, Epsilon get an additional 100, or you take it away from ESC. So right now, basically, ESC have 30 tickets.
Yep.
To 142.
Perspective. Yeah, 30 tickets to 142. If that was the case, if we were seeing those numbers, which it is, we as casters, we're just going to have to sit back and watch. Because right now, Jera, they've got AB. It's not going to last too long. He's got to do something on that C site, and I just can't see it happening. David is a real presence at the moment, yet again, being that turret we know and love, takes down Doobie, and is just going to go charging through this kind of disheveled building, barely managing to get up the stairs before taking down another player, this time Smashu, and Epsilon quite happy with this 2-cap, watching those remaining tickets crumble away.
How did they let him get here again? ESC, please. If I can work this out, you should be able to work this out. And once again, Epsilon will get into their comfort pick, their comfort hold, and they'll just sit here and watch those tickets. Just go, oh, well, we don't need a trip cap. We might want to push for it if you want. Marzu, you can either defend maybe towards the B side, but if you want to solo A, you're welcome to. He can do that. He can decide where he wants to go. Because this is what makes Epsilon dangerous. A couple of tickets now left on board for ESC, and they know this one's over. They need to talk through the next couple of maps.
Well, yeah, the next map. I mean, we wanted to see it go to 3 maps. That's what we were saying. We were saying if these 2 teams so evenly matched, it's going to go to 3 maps. To who?
Hard to predict now.
Oh, I'm going to force you to.
Let's see how this one finishes out right now. Then I'll get towards it.
Okay, well, we'll watch the remaining ticket.
Yeah, 1 ticket left. ESC do have the 2-1, but any respawn will cost it. They can't get Benny back in. He is gone. He is done and dusted. And, well, we just saw basically why Epsilon did finish second to Fnatic. They are a solid side when it comes down to it. 103 tickets now. 1 more. There it is. So, Epsilon move on towards the next map. They can keep playing. They can warm up. But GG has been said. Overall, right now, if I was ESC, my complete attention will be on that final map coming up. How can we do this? How can we think of our way through? They need to focus on that Dawnbreaker map coming up. It's a bit of a unique one. Well, let's be serious here.
It's a map we've seen constantly. I'm trying to think of a game we haven't. I think we've seen Dawnbreaker in every single game so far.
All right,
yeah, you go.
Let me break it down. Break it down. Let me break it down for you, Alex. Right here, right now. So, when I talk about Dawnbreaker and the tactics people use, I will refer to Epsilon as the team. They're the team that has the strongest tactics. Like, I would probably consider that one tactic we saw there with the support class in play with Asterix is only attached to the team on the screens at the moment, Epsilon. They're the ones who run it. But they don't have anything quirky, they don't have anything out of the box for Dawnbreaker. They just have a solid, well-rounded tactic that works. I'll take you through it when we get into game, who plays where, and it just pays out. If ESC didn't prep for Railway, I worry they didn't prep for this.
I'm completely in agreement with you there, but I mean, the way I've seen Dawnbreaker is a map that everyone knows how to play. Now, you're talking about Epsilon's kind of different strategy, and that intrigues me, because ESC are a team who I can only assume, and I haven't seen them play this recently, are a team that rely almost entirely on starting strong and working off momentum. Epsilon, we saw them do it on Zavod, are completely undeterred by a deficit, early deficit.
Okay.
Okay.
You're right, but even though this is standard,
yeah,
the way they play it out, it's near on flawless. I don't think Fnatic would want to play them on this map.
Okay. Wow. Okay, this is me underestimating Epsilon on Dawnbreaker. Is that what's going on?
That's what's happening.
Okay.
They can play Orthodox, Unorthodox. They can play just about everything on this one. It's a map you probably shouldn't give over to them at any sort of point. So, let's have a little look towards this one. I think we are now ready. I think the teams are sorted out. Let's have a little look to see who's on which side. So ESC will be starting on the US side. They'll be gifted C almost instantly. And Epsilon will be over on the Chinese side. So Epsilon have the chance to either go for the all-in play. I think they're going to stack A out and then work down. I don't think they need to go for that B play. Maybe put one player there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they go for. We are now 5 seconds away from the final map here between ESC and Epsilon. Oh, final prediction.
ESC. I'm going for ESC. I know you're a fan of the way Epsilon play, but I just think ESC, they want to return to how that first map went. And
Asterix is going in the bus. He's going in the bus. Go in the bus, Asterix. Or is he going on the back of this thing? Oh, that's rubbish. Oh, that's boring, Asterix. But basically, he plays this class every single time. It doesn't ever work out in this sort of spot. But anyway, let's start talking about what's actually going to be happening in this one. So the way ESC are going to be... they're playing Unorthodox. Oh, now this changes. Okay, I need to explain what's going down. Basically, Hubsucks is stopping the entire spawn coming around behind him here. It's going to force them down to this part of the road. Whereas normally Epsilon would depend on that. They'll put Duke here. They'll put Mars. No, they wouldn't put Marzu normally. The Marzu normally holds a little bit further back, but they've switched up a little bit here. But Epsilon will build into this. They are going to find a route through. They're going to struggle if they depend on the random back C spawn. If they do that, they're done in this game.
Okay, so exchange on that B side. Doobie's going to be trying to hold on. He can't, though, under the pressure of Horek's Ace 23. Jera looking to pick up the pieces. He can't either, and that's going to be the B site gifted over after quite a solid Epsilon attack. You're going to see those spawns coming in now for ESC, forcing them back on towards that C side, kind of tipping onto their heels. Hubsucks, though, they've got a different plan. They're like, okay, you can't have B, let's try A. But with 3 Epsilon players around that A site, this could be a bit of a pipe dream. Let's see what Doobie's got for us. He's charging up those stairs. This stairs is usually coated in, or soon to be coated in ESC blood if this goes to plan for the defensive side right now. Quite happy, though, to hang around with B, and I'm concerned for Doobie's safety here. Marsu ready and waiting to defend. Squad is starting to spawn in on him. They're well aware of this A threat. They think B has been a bit too quiet for a bit too long, and ESC looking a bit indecisive here, Lauren.
They are. They really don't know where to push at the moment. And this is the bigger problem. I'm not too sure if we can get some game sounds here. Actually, I can't hear the game sounds right now, which is a little bit curious. But ESC are working out slowly but surely, but they're going to have a harder time. ESC needs to take away some of the exterior walls, open up that A site a little bit. But look at the hole that's just come out. This is Epsilon being standard. They're playing the Orthodox style. They're playing the smart way by just setting up really nicely over here. This is basically the line they'll hold, consistently forcing ESC to spawn back around. So there's like a 10% chance maybe of a back A spawn. And then they'll leave Horek in this position. This is the position I was expecting. Duke is generally up here. There we go. And then we have these guys roaming around. David up on catwalk, maybe back capping if necessary. And then these two will just consistently hold back the A threat when needed. And they can build that lead off the back of that, and this is where they become strong. Yeah, and there's just zero need right now to rotate towards that C site. That is, I mean, David is a backup plan right now. As soon as that A site gets kind of overthrown, if they throw too many numbers, if ESC throw all their eggs towards that A basket, fine. David shows up at C, and they switch to a BC hold. Very nice play from Epsilon, and right now ESC have 0 answers for them. Asterix the turret continues. He tries, but Horek is the one probably doing more damage at the moment. The tickets are slightly in favour to Epsilon at present. Marzu finds Hubsucks, but Horek waiting to execute towards the side. He does have backup, does pick up 1. That will be a good opener. Duke now splits around. They're going to make the hit at the same time, split the attention of the opposition. Doobie still around, though. He can make this one hurt a little more. Wow, fantastic work there from Hubsucks with the CZ. Obviously that weapon favouring that close range combat. He's getting just that around this A site. Such narrow corridors. Very prone to nades as well. Managing to just get away from one himself. And those tickets starting to favour Epsilon. Dangerous amounts. David does go down on C though. So Benny playing the defensive game. But if you're only keeping C safe, you're not playing hard enough. This finally Smash is playing hard to get on B. Gonna
secure that site, but for how long? Duke's more worried about A right now. This could potentially go all of a sudden towards ESC if they can take A down as well.
Yeah, Jerry going on the rotate and the flank around the back.
Whoa.
Picks up the double. Brilliant play with the ace-23. Knows there may be another. Finds a little bit of cover. Puts down the med pack. Can he hold this all by himself? He does now have support coming in. Be Duke waiting. He's got backup as well. It's this constant slow building pattern. Duke baits it out. Try not to give away that anyone spawned onto him, but they may know there's now more than one.
Hello, look at this. 4 players from Epsilon thrown towards A, and right on the money, Smashu heads to C. Securing that one, securing some well, I was about to say securing some security, but trying to keep B as safe as possible. David has other plans though. Look at this guy. He seems to be the Horek of the Epsilon team.
Yeah, most certainly is. Gerard now moving in. We're trying to get this flag under wraps. At the moment, 75 to 106 here. B back and forth consistently. ESC are having to battle for every ticket, however, whereas Epsilon look like they're just trying to get to the more ideal setup, which is seeing them move in towards, which is that B site to complement A, which is currently in their hands. And, well, I was saying, David just brute forced his way in. There's nothing pretty or beautiful about that. No tactics involved, just sheer aim and power with it. Paid off very well for him. So AB set up, they can start extending that lead.
Asterix was on C site and didn't try and capture it.
It's so they can keep them back here, basically. They want to keep ESC down here in this general area. If he's playing in this sort of region that you can see on screen now, it'll make them spawn back there. So if he can do that, he's doing his job. However, it forces them up the west road. If Horek falls, it's all going to come down to the likes of Marzu on the site. So they're going to have to be ready to retake rather than maybe challenge.
Yeah, Marzu's in a whole lot of trouble. 3 players looking for his blood, and they get it. Didn't have to pay a single life in price at the moment. Very nice play from them. Ticket starting to get away from ESC right now. Duke extending that with a great play on towards Smashu. And so with AC in US hands, which is of course ESC, they need to try and hold on to this. We've seen AC holds, but right now it's just looking like Epsilon, 4 players on A and no threat elsewhere. This is going to be straight back, retake, AB hold.
Yep, Epsilon drop it for a second, pick it back up where they left off. 52 to 93. ESC not having that potency they had before, those CZs not having that same effect like last time, and hoping they can find a route back in, find a path, find a ample angle, but ESC are just struggling with every single kill. Jera, quiet game, 2 to 9, not what you want at this point, now 3. They've got to be getting these big heavy hitters back on the score, but they're barely up at the same time. Duke picks up 1, and Marzu now has to hold this side, and it looks like hell, he does get the exchange, but not the kill.
So, A and B. A seems to be changing hands a lot more than expected. We usually see B being this kind of constant war zone. This time, though, pretty quiet. Flowers are starting to grow. Rainbows are around B. Just chilling, whereas A now covered in blood. Smashu now looking to defend from 3 players. This could get messy, and it does. He goes down to Horek. And he cracks open to that side. That's going to be yet again the A site changing hands. Epsilon dropped it, dusted it off, and it's all theirs yet once more. AC hold, soon to just be the A hold though, as ESC securing the C site as payment for the loss of their A. So BC, tickets though heavily favoring Epsilon, and I can't see ESC unless they really hold this, set up a real perimeter. This is going to go for a, not sure how big, but an Epsilon first half.
Oh, Doobie, the timing, he made it through, it just didn't go well. But now Epsilon in a better setup, they've got the players waiting to get the execute going. B should be theirs. I don't think Benny can really get the fire from here. He's trying, but it's not working out at all. Basically, A and B will be theirs, and they're even going to have the cheek to put pressure down towards C. So this could be a trip cap to end with, and that will probably close them out, those remaining tickets. But they need to be careful. They're leaving B a little light, which could cause a rotate from B towards A, and therefore the change in power here.
Change in power indeed. 26 tickets then. ESC looking a little weaker than these after such an incredible first game. I'm sure if the audience will agree. I have to see a couple of nods in the audience right now though, as you see ESC heading towards A. Got 2 players alongside to defend though. It's going to be Horek and Duke, and what better players to defend, as Epsilon shining very, very bright right now. Doesn't take away from this BC hold. I want to see that bleed go as far as possible for ESC, especially because I said that I thought they were going to take it. I don't want my prediction to be proved wrong. Right now though, Lauren, as an Epsilon player, you're sat in their seats. What would you be saying on comms? I'd throw numbers at B.
Well, they They're basically playing like they had 5 tickets left.
Yeah.
They were being a little lax, a little hap-handed. They were losing out on the west side street. I'd say reinforce Horek with maybe 1 or 2 other players on the site, and then just lock down like that sort of aspect. So
boom.
It looks like they may be doing that. So Horek might actually get some support here because they're constantly losing out on these pushes coming in because his position is known. It's not exactly something new, and they're finally picking up the kills to support him. B is also being grabbed now. So 2 sites up in the air, A being challenged out by Jera, B being given over to Epsilon, and with 15 tickets, it cost 4 to spawn in this side. ESC are on their final push now.
Yeah, this is it, and ESC well aware of what every ticket means now. They need to be careful with their spawns. Is Benny running a sniper?
At this point, why not?
Okay, he is. Interesting choice there from Benny. I suppose he's just kind of looking to rub salt into their already pretty wide wound. 53 tickets to be precise. They're going to see that last ticket disappear off. No one's going to, yeah, they are almost suicide there, choosing to respawn. 53 tickets, great start in that first half. I think we're going to see some smiles on the faces of Epsilon there. And we're just going to be swapping sides to the second half. But I mean, fantastic display from Epsilon. ESC, so very lackluster. And I was about to start insulting Jera, and I looked at the scoreboard and saw he was making moves on sites. Maybe not the kills. Look at that score.
But I don't like a player like Jera being forced into that role. Jera is such a good fragger when he's on point. He's kind of wasted on that sort of position. 6 to 15. It's really not ideal, and I don't know. Epsilon are playing well, but ESC could have taken that so many. I've got to say, Epsilon were not playing a phenomenal game. I think Fnatic look substantially better.
Yeah.
And I want to see more from Epsilon. They should have locked that game out 2 or 3 minutes ago. I've got to say. Did someone just put the camera on me because I'm cute?
That was what I was smiling at, yeah. They keep putting the camera on me because I'm cute. That was Duke. So,
that was Duke.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Duke.
Duke's a cutie.
We'll point him out when they actually put the camera on him, don't you worry.
So, I mean, going into this one, ESC have everything to prove and so much to lose because these guys, they've battled so hard through the Go Force to get here. Taken down, I mean, was it MYM? I don't want to be... Infamous, thank you, sorry. They've taken down Infamous, a team who we were expecting to see here, and now ESC filling those shoes, and I mean, with the results they're bringing in, they have every right to be here. If they can have add the Epsilon head to their wall, it will be fantastic for them, but with 50 tickets, that's a tough threshold, and I really want to see where this one goes, Lauren. Talk to me about the start for both teams here.
They have to make it count, ESC. If they want this, if they genuinely want to win it, they have to get an extended 2-to-1 hold off the very start of things.
Okay.
No messing around. No unorthodox play. They are live now, I believe, into this one, if I'm not mistaken. And ESC going for the 2-3-2 split. So 3 down towards B, 2 to pick up A safely, and then reinforce wherever needed. ESC must get both sites. They cannot mess this up. Epsilon, the firing squad on Dog Walk there, laying fire across, getting a couple of nades out. Hopefully we can get that in-game sound on the go very quickly here, because at the moment ESC are now struggling to maintain, and they might get triple caps straight away.
Oh, it's the caster's curse. What have you done? Straight away saying, oh, we need a strong start from ESC, and I can't think of anything worse. Triple cap for Epsilon right now, and Marsu going absolutely ham. Jera finally putting a bullet into his chest with the Ace 23, but it was just too little too late. Now we see a little bit of an ESC squad towards the A site. B and C untouched for now. Jera, his whereabouts are well and truly known. He's going to get taken down. Look at this.
And Asterix spotted these guys out earlier on. He knows there's still pretty a player here. The cap's still going. Doobie gets found and they maintain the triple gap. If Duke stops him on B, which he could, he does go down. They could have held that even longer. ESC are being outplayed on every front at the moment. And there's nothing different about Epsilon from game 1 to game 3. They're still the same team.
Yeah.
It's just they've woken the hell up. They are playing a stunning game, and it's kind of similar to how Fnatic treated their final map in that slightly closer game against Vox. They smashed it to prove a point, and right now, sadly, ESC are under the kind of foot of Epsilon.
Yes, certainly Epsilon has a pretty heavy boot now on the chest of ESC. Benny, though, looking to fight back. The man with so much to prove, as he's been around a while and always been kind of around this kind of the higher echelons of the competitive scene. Just never really the bride. Smashu, he's behind enemy lines. There's like 4 players around him. He's not wanting to be too scrutinized. He's going to get nades towards him. He's going to go down, and that was the dreams of a quick A cap shattered. We're now with a quite comfortable ESC hold on this B area. I don't have confidence in Doobie's positioning. I've seen many players work it from there. It's a very common spot, but from Doobie, I haven't seen inspiring play from him in this game.
No, I tend to agree. He's trying to do work, getting a couple of spots, nades are out, but let's be honest, Epsilon will know how to counter that. They'll find positions that don't, get you picked up too easily. And look at this, they're bait and switch. David, realizing B was being heavily stacked, he's going to get out towards C. If they turn around and come back towards him, they'll stack out the other side. There was a cheeky little EOD bot in play for a couple of seconds. That didn't stick with us, sadly. But still, 2-1 now. Looking at the tickets, 103 left for ESC. They're almost halfway out of this one straight away.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the start ESC we're looking for right now. Epsilon with that 53 ticket advantage. Take that away. Take that 53 number away from ESC tickets, and you're looking at about 50 remaining.
Triple cap.
And this is going to be the nail in the ESC coffin. Look at Marsu go, securing B site. Great work from him, and look to the response. They are going to be taking that A, but I mean, a BC hold with players like Asterix on the sidelines, it's going to be a real mountain to climb.
And you can see the Epsilon not putting a player in a defensive position means that they want to quickly rotate up towards A to reclaim it, and then maybe forgo the C site. They'll work up eventually when they get the right kills for it. Right now they're being stopped in their tracks. They might need to fall back to one defensive player. But a 2-1 hold, even for this long, is almost good enough to do the job. And they're picking back up on A. They didn't over-rotate from B, so they held it 125 to 77. These guys might do it in the next couple of pushes.
Yeah, and these pushes are so effective. I'm always being surprised by just how strong each of these individual players. Duke, 8 for 1. He's only died once. This man is constantly charging around these sites. And it's really inspiring to see for the Epsilon player. 10-1 now. Picked up another 2. B and A still under Epsilon control. And for how long? That is the question. And Hupsux is looking to answer it, though, pushing on towards A. He's going to go down. Nice work from Asterix with that ace. And look at that ticket ticking away. It's almost all over. ESC know it. Epsilon know it. I'm sure there's some smiles creeping onto their faces now after such a hard-fought game. 2 tickets remain for this game, and well, wham bam, thank you ma'am, Epsilon progress.
Yeah, Epsilon looking good, looking strong. ESC showing little bits of hope here and there, but not enough to pick up the maps they should be doing it on. The first map they played astoundingly. Picking it up was a surprise, let's be honest here, for ESC. Epsilon, however, were just ready and waiting on the others. ESC should have known what was happening on Railway. It's a map that Epsilon play consistently in that style. Everyone knows Asterix is going to go to that ledge. Everyone knows it. Yet they couldn't counter it at all.
No, I mean, ESC, they had their chances. Maybe not on this, the previous map, but here on Dawnbreaker, they had the opportunity to really be a giant killer, and Epsilon
they were on the verge. That's a really sad thing about this. ESC, after that start, you saw that Epsilon were not looking happy. They were looking pretty damn grumpy after that. And there's a little cutie on the screen, Duke, obviously.
There he is.
And look at him, little cute guy. See, the crew even want to take pictures of him. He can't help it. Yep. Can't help it. Such a little cute guy. But no, ESC had the chance to knock the Giants down a peg or two. That first map certainly scared Epsilon, let's be honest here.
Scared or inspired? Little proposal for you. I mean, Epsilon looked like a whole new team going into map 2.
See, but I feel if the first minute went this way, for example, let's say ESC went to the second map, knew that Asterix was going to play there, immediately with the engineer class, with those CZs and the laws coming into play, if they rocketed out that building completely and went, we know exactly what you wanted, and you're not going to get that, that would have just struck fear into Epsilon straight away, going,
they know
exactly what our game plan is. What can we do now? Okay, well, we need to change this up, over-adapt this, and that's when you can start making those mistakes. You start thinking, oh, I need to over-adapt, I need to start changing stuff, and if only they'd have just pressured them that little bit more.
And it's going to be weighing heavy on their minds. I do not doubt that for a second.
So, ladies and gents, I think you've had enough of us talking. Let's get over to the stage again to check out how Red Eye's doing on the stage. I can imagine with one of the players.
Thank you very much. With Reaper right now from Epsilon Gaming. Welcome back to the stage. Another season, and Epsilon Gaming are back. We love to see you at these finals. You're, I guess, right now, many people will say the second best team in Europe, which is annoying you, I know, because Fnatic are getting all the good stuff. But you're here to prove a point, but it didn't quite go the way you wanted it to in that first map. Tell me why.
It's one ticket. It's just luck. We started slowly, very slowly. It's the whole crowd, the new place, maybe, I don't know, the temperature. We were excited. The second map, we woke up. And then the third map, we finished decently.
Yeah, the second map is your map, though.
Yeah, it's definitely. Goal mode is it's a funny map. It's ugly.
But you guys have figured it out.
What?
You figured that map out. Like, no one else seems to have figured it out quite the same way as you have.
Yeah. Because we try to play a different style like any others. Try to create new tactics, and the enemies and the other teams can't prepare it. That's why.
Okay. One last thing then, Fnatic. They're waiting for you in the semi-finals. Are you going to go all the way and get some revenge in the finals this season?
I hope so.
I wasn't that confident. It wasn't as confident as I hoped it would be, but we'll see. Reaper and his gang are through to the upper bracket final. We'll see them a little bit later on. Our second game in Group A is coming up next.